welcomes this very special edition of Don't Touch the Beard, in which I video document and then talk nonsense over the games of Cageball using Blacksmith. Yes, they're finally here, or rather, they're not, and I've made terrible proxies for them because we have rules. As ever, my games are played down at Darksphere in Lambeth in South London. That's the bit below the river where no one goes without any good reason to. What better reason than Guild Ball? So today I'll be playing my good friend Jay, who is using his engineers but trying out pen vice rather than his normal ballista, whilst I try to get to grips with the blacksmiths. So we rolled to see who would be kicking off, which I won and elected to receive the ball. Jay set up his crew, giving the ball to Rage to kick off. I in turn set up in on the opposite side of the pitch. He was using Pinvice, Rage, Mother and Ratchet versus my Anvil, Furnace, Sledge and Cinder, because frankly those are the only ones I've got available to me. I elected to use Anvil as my captain as he has the biggest beard. Rage's kick scatters straight off the narrower pitch on that you use for Cageball, and I give the ball straight to Anvil. If you're unfamiliar with Cageball, it is a format variant posted on the Steamforge website where you play with 4 players to 10 points, 1 captain, 1 mascot and 2 outfield players on a 2x3 board rather than the usual 3x3, hence us using a proving ground mat today, oh handy viewer. Straight into allocation then, I give Anvil 3, Furnace 1, Sledge 2 and Cinder 2. Cogs in turn give Pinvice 4, Ratchet 2, Mother 1 and Rage 1, and we head straight into turn 1. I activate Captain Bigbeard himself and activate Strike whilst the iron is hot, so choosing one of the goals, any blacksmith within a 6-inch pulse is dodged 2 inches towards that goal. I, no great surprises, choose the engineer's goal, allowing me to dodge my entire team forward a little bit. Anvil then passes the ball to Cinder, but rather than dodging her forward, I bank the point of momentum. Mother activates and sprints forward. She then farts out a little nest marker right in the centre of the pitch in towards my lines. Doubtless will be difficult or make nuisance of itself later on in the game. Furnace activates and tools up Sledge. Not that I'm expecting to get Sledge into a fight really, but always good to be prepared. Ratchet activates and jogs forward up the pitch. He then demonstrates entirely whilst he's in this team and fires out Blast Earth towards my clumped up blacksmiths, hitting both Anvil and Sledge and making the area around them rough ground for the rest of the turn. My big slow fellas just got a lot slower. I activate the lovely Cinder, who sprints forward. Now, because Cinder activated began her activation within 6 inches of her master Furnace, she is gifted the Burning Strike for this turn, or any attacks that she makes will also hand out Burning. Equally, she has the beloved rule, or as Jay put it on the day, that which makes me a filth wizard, the Hot Shot rule, which allows her to take 1 attack during her activation as if she had a 6-inch melee range. Love it. So that is Tac 5 versus Mother's 4s and 1s. Gives me 4 net hits, which is enough for a momentous double dodge, getting my primary ball carrier Cinder further up the pitch. Still not quite in range for any goal jank, so I hide her in cover at the top of the screen. Range activates and tools himself up, presumably for any counterattacks that may present themselves as opportunity. Jay then sprints him up the pitch for free, effectively using Furious to make a charge without recourse, but his activation immediately ends, presumably wanting to test to see what I can do or trying to bait me out my lines. Will it work, oh handy viewer? Keep watching and you'll find out. Clearly, that's how this works. Come on, keep up. It works real good. So I activate Sledge, and due to tutelage, I can use a character play without spending any influence, so I immediately cast Pile Driver, giving me plus 3 net hits on my next attack. So, hammer high, I put Sledge directly into Rage. That is Tac 9 versus 4s and O's. I get 9 net hits, which is enough for a momentous 8, momentous 2 due to the presence of Tooled Up, for a grand total of 2 momentum, 10 points of damage with 1 swing of the hammer. Pinvice activates and jogs forwards warily. As well you might, Missy. As well you might. So that's 3 momentum onto the Blacksmiths to none on the Engineers side, if I remember rightly. So I win the initiative and elect to go first, giving Jay a point of momentum for his troubles. So Blacksmith allocations for the turn, that is Anvil 1, Furnace 1, not really needing much from the Masters this turn, I think. Sledge 3, and Cinders 3. Engineers in turn load up Pinvice with 5, give Ratchet 2, Mother 1, and Rage nothing. Right then, let's see if this works on the pitch as well as it does in my head. Spoilers, it does. I activate Cinder and sprint her forward. And thanks once more to the ever-living joy that is Hotshot, I buy an attack from miles away against Mother. So that's Cinder's attack 5 against Mother's 4s and 1s. I get 1 net hit, which is all I want for a momentous dodge, both dodging me nearest to the goal and giving me that key point of momentum. And now within goal threat, within range of taking a shot, Cinders smashes it against the Engineer's goal post, and the Blacksmiths go up 4-0. Beautiful first activation goal from Cinders, loving the ability to be able to do that. Jay, not so much. I spend that point of momentum to run the length with Cinder, wanting to get her back towards the rest of her guild as quickly as possible. And you may note, oh eagle-eyed handy viewers such as you are, that we entirely forget to kick the ball out after this kickoff. So Ratchet activates and begins by tooling up Pinvice. He then once more, entirely understandably, puts Blast Earth into Anvil and Sledge, missing Sledge this time but hitting Anvil. The Engineers then use Ratchet's heroic play with that point of momentum he got for going second in the turn to overclock Pinvice, meaning now she can get into my lines for free and have 5 points of influence with which to buy her attacks, which is a worrying prospect all told. Anvil, carrying that giant shield and not being the fastest sort in the first place, sprints through the rough ground and doesn't get particularly far. And sensing a Pinvice charge, and also Rage is still very much alive at this point, I pop the Tested Metal Legendary play on Anvil, giving him, or more critically, his crew, his guild around him, tough hide for the rest of the turn. We notice at this point that we've not kicked the ball out, so Jay does that now, and the ball snaps directly to Mother. So Jay activates Pinvice, and then in turn sprints her directly towards the melee with Anvil, Sledge, and Furnace lurking, but caught under that Blast Earth currently, and to give Rage a bit of backup. She then spends her first influence to give deletion to herself. Now naturally this will stack with tooled up, as they are from different sources and differently named rules. So currently she's on +2 damage to every single strike. A little bit worried. So that is Pinvice's attack 6 versus Sledge's 4s and 2s. 2 net hits is 3 points of damage, reduced down to 2 by Tough Hide. Pinvice takes another swing, again attack 6 versus 4s and 2s. 2 net hits is 3 points of damage, reduced to 2 by Tough Hide. Pinvice continues clawing and scratching at Sledge's pretty face. That's attack 6 versus 4s and 2s. No net hits this time for no damage whatsoever. I activate Furnace and I pop his legendary slay, Tempered Steel, to give him +1 armor in case there's any counterattacks coming that way, and jog forward to join the fracas. He then takes a swing on Pinvice, and despite being attack 7 versus 5s and 0s, I get absolutely nothing from the swing. The Engineers activate Mother, who squirts out another little nest. She then burrows and pops out pretty much very near to the goal. Hang on. What's going on? I activate Super Happy Funtime Sledge, and due to the presence of Anvil and Tutelage, I get to use Pile Driver for free. Free, I tell you. So Sledge takes a swing on Rage, who is 4s and 0s, attack 4 due to the crowd out from Pinvice. That is 6 net hits for a momentous 4 damage. I then hard cast Pile Driver. I'm not entirely sure this was the correct course of action. Looking back, I just really like using it. So that's attack 4 versus 4s and 0s, all dice miss, but I still get 3 net hits due to Pile Driver, doing a momentous 2 damage, leaving Rage on 1 wound. Rage activates, and despite not having any influence, jogs into cover to make hitting him a little harder. Sensible. So at the end of the turn, I win initiative and elect to go first with Blacksmith again the next turn. So I put 2 on Anvil, 1 on Furnace, 3 on Sledge, and 3 on Cinder. Engineers, in turn, in this key pivotal turn 3, put 1 on Pinvice, 4 on Ratchet, 3 on Mother, and none on Rage. Fearful of a Mother goal, I activate Cinder and sprint her towards the terrain at the top of the screen and take aim with a crossbow. Due to that 6-inch engagement zone, I would have laughed if this had worked. So it's tack 5 versus 4s and 1s. I get 1 net hit for 1 point of damage. I was, of course, aiming for 3 net hits on 4 dice for a tackle, purely for the hilarity, frankly. Looking back, there probably was a better plan of getting the ball off Mother, but if that had worked, I would have fallen off my chair laughing. With my remaining point of influence, I then hardcast Decoy on Cinder, giving +2 defense against the next attack or character play. So, despite the improbability of it all, Jay activates Mother, and with a point of momentum I handed him by winning initiative, he nudges the ball gently with mandibles, mechanical mandibles, right into the Blacksmith goal. 4-all the score now. I kick the ball out because that's the thing that you do after goals are scored, apparently, and the ball scatters straight to and snaps to Ratchet, sadly. I really like this activation because the tables have been reversed and that Sledge has set up Anvil. It's like, here you go, Master, you may have the final blow. So yes, I activate Anvil. So Anvil winds up his massive hammer against Rage. That is tack 5 versus 4s and 0s. I get 1 net hit, but hey, that's all I need. And smash Anvil in the face for 1 point of damage, taking him out. So that brings the score now to Engineers 4, Blacksmith 6. Yay! Emboldened, Anvil turns his hammer against Pinvice. That's tack 6 5s. This is 5s and 0s, 3 net hits, and I go for the momentous knockdown. So Pinvice activates and uses Take a Breather to clear conditions on herself. She then buys an attack on Anvil. I declare a counter attack. So that's tack 5s versus 2s and 3s. 1 net hit is a momentous dodge, getting out of my melee zone and entirely ruining the idea of putting her back down on the floor again. Having dodged, she then bravely runs away, for reasons that I can entirely understand. There's a lot of big hammers looking at her right now, and also some swords that are on fire. I activate Sledge, and once more, due to the presence of tutelage, I put Pile Driver on him for free. Loving this rule, really makes the character sing. So, to the accompanying chuckles of Furnace and Anvil's apprentices, Sledge sprints after Pinvice on what might have been a foolish move. So that's tack 4 versus 5s and 0s due to the presence of the nest marker. Thought that might come out to bite me in the arse. That's 4 net hits, and I go for the knockdown. I buy another attack. That is tack 4 versus 4s and 0s. I get 2 net hits, which is enough for a momentous 1 damage. Oh, this has not gone to plan. So Ratchet activates and jogs forwards now. And I begin to get a sinking feeling as Ratchet has the ball. I think I can begin to see Jay's plan. So that is, he activates Longbomb to give him a 10-inch pass. So Ratchet blasts poor old Sledge, hits and reduces him now to 4 HP. Ratchet winds up the pass and passes it pretty much the entire length of the centre of the pitch, getting the ball square to Mother just in front of goal. Mother in turn spends the 2 points of momentum, and somehow the ball bounces perfectly off her giant abdomen and straight into the Blacksmith goal. That making it Engineers 8, Blacksmith 6. Boo! The ball is kicked out and it goes straight to Cinders. There is hope yet. So desperate to get to the next turn, I activate Furnace. So looking to ensure that at least this never happens again, I move Furnace into Mother. Tack 6 versus 4s and 1s. 2 net hits is momentous, 1 damage, and due to Searing Strike, that is burning and -1 armor for the rest of the turn. That is turn, and again the Blacksmiths win initiative, and again I elect to go first. So allocation for turn 4, I give none to Anvil, 3 to Furnace, 3 to Sledge, 3 to Cinder. Cogs in turn bring Rage back on and jog him into cover at the bottom of the screen, as he is a little vulnerable to a takeout now, and give Pinvice 4, Ratchet 4, none to Mother, and 1 to Rage. So I activate Cinder, who sprints, snapping the ball 2 on her way. And then again, thanks to what is fast becoming one of my favourite things in Guild, Hot Shot, she has a 6-inch engagement and she lines up a shot against Ratchet. So she is tack 5 versus 3s and 1s. 3 net hits is enough for the momentous dodge I need, both for the point of momentum and to bring me closer towards the Engineer's goal. So just in goal range, Cinders takes a shot, and as you can probably tell by my facial expression on screen, I am very happy to say that it smashed its way past the Engineers line, making the final score Engineers 8, Blacksmiths 10 in their debut. Fantastic result. Absolutely phenomenal first game with the Blacksmiths. As you can probably tell, I am elated with how they played. They came onto the pitch precisely exactly how I wanted them and expected them playing, that I was able to form a vanguard, a protective anvil around my lines, and to make ridiculous goal runs with Cinders when the opportunity presented itself. A couple of things really stood out to me. There's been a lot of discussion on various forums and Facebook groups, and if you've not seen them, I'd encourage you to get involved there, that the Masters, although they're able to take more influence and generate more influence, are not necessarily the workhorses for the guild. Sledge certainly putting out the vast majority of the damage, although he didn't score the takeouts, and Anvil's legendary player being able to give everyone around him tough hide made an enormous difference when a very, very influence heavy and buff heavy pin vice smashed her ways into my line. I was massively impressed not only by the tested metal legendary play, but just Sentinel in general. I don't think I popped the rule up on screen, but it was there, of course. Every time an apprentice is within an inch of a master, they gain +1 armor from the masters that we have currently released. Cinder's ability to go first in the turn, generate her own momentum with no opportunity for reprisal, is phenomenally good. Now, we've seen strikers be able to do this in the past, where they're able to dodge out of people's melee's engagement zone, but that hotshot rule gives so much more ability to be able to do it uncountered. If I'm completely honest, if this ability existed outside of Blacksmith in another guild, I'm not sure it would be quite so fair. But I think part of what makes it viable and not ridiculous is just how slow and static the rest of the guild are. I'm not sure, I mean, this is the first time that I've used them, but please, if you have opinions on it, post them below the table, get involved in the various conversations that are being held everywhere online. Blacksmith's absolute delight to use. Very, very happy with how they've turned out. Massive thank you to my opponent, as ever, Jay. Nice to see his engineers on the table, particularly as the Colossus goal. If anyone's confused, he did not have 5 players on the pitch. He was just using Colossus as a goal piece. It remains only to be said that if you have enjoyed this video and wish to see more of this nonsense, please click the beard that is on your screen now. Equally, there are playlists left and right for more of the content that I produce. Lastly, I was very lucky enough to be asked on to Singled Out this week to discuss new mistakes, as I am the noob du jour. If you have not done so already, I would encourage you to give that a listen. Thank you very much, folks. Cheers.